Hello everyone, Tactical Itch here. The 5.3 patch notes are out and I'm sure other content creators are all covering it, and you'll have more than enough videos about the new meta. So let's talk about something different. In this video, we'll be highlighting what I think is missing in patch 5.3 and go through some balance changes I'd like to see in the future after this patch. Now let's start with the elephant on the dwarf roster, the Thunder Barge. It's getting a minor price increase of 200 gold to 3,200. Unfortunately, I believe that is still way too low of a price for the massive war machine, as it is consistently getting over 4,000 gold worth of damage value with minimum micro in multiplayer games. Ideally, the balloon should cost way more than that at 4,500 gold or even at 5,000 just to price them out of their current OP status in multiplayer. To be fair, CA is pretty cautious about balance changes, and implementing a 200 gold increase isn't a bad first step, but I feel like the Thunder Barge is one case where radical measures can be justified, just to stop players from abusing it on ranked multiplayer. Other nerfs to the dwarf roster is also a bit weak. They did make bolt throwers and gyrocopters slightly weaker, but I think they can go a little harder on the nerf hammer against the Dawi. Next on my radar, the Chaos Dwarf pricing. Chaos Dwarfs got some buffs with their single entities here. Lamasu got a spell resistance, and then the Blazing Body ability on the Flying Cows got improved. Kadai Destroyer got its collision attacks, and even the Dreadquake Mortars got some price cuts. But in my opinion, the units that need buffs the most were mostly left untouched. Usually when you're playing Chaos Dwarfs, you're stuck with absolute rubbish that costs almost nothing, and high tier elite units that will cost you an arm and a leg. Everything else in between just doesn't offer much bang for the buck. Not having any cheap and cost-effective mobility to peel off enemy threats is especially a glaring weakness of the Chaos Dwarf roster. Hobgoblin Wolf Raiders, both spears and archers, are way too expensive for their stat lines. I've mentioned this many times on my streams. Wolf Raiders with spears cost around the same as Illyrian Reavers, and Wolf Raider archers cost exactly the same as Reaver archers, and yet they have worse stats all around, especially the Wolf Raider archers. To make things worse, High Elf units have martial prowess to boost their stats even more, while the Hobgoblins have nothing to make up for it other than fire damage and two rather weak abilities. I do hope that in the near future some kind of price cuts will come for the Hobgoblins and scoop the Chaos Dwarfs out of their awkward spot on the current meta. Now the third item on my list, Karanak. His abilities are left untouched in this patch. The Snare ability Prey of the Blood God has been nerfed in terms of damage, so the only problem really is the Silence Aura. Currently, the area of effect of the Brass Collar is way too big. He doesn't even need to get close to his enemies to deny them from using their abilities or spells. Reducing the range of the aura, for example halving it, or even turning it into a contact effect would be nice on Karanak. Finally, personally, I would love to see more nerfs to healing. In this patch, Regrowth's Vigor Refresh got a massive nerf, so units can't get back to full power now, and Fleshy Abundance is getting limited to 4 units max, so both are great changes, but other heals can still be strong as they are not being altered in any way. Spamming heals on powerful single entities, for example Master Mundi using Apotheosis and Rev Crystal to sustain the hit points of the Shredder of Lustria, or relying on self-regenerating single entity monsters, can still give you a strong edge in late game even if you lost much of your army. This will probably still be the case in the foreseeable future, as healing can be a fickle thing to balance when healing is such a powerful tool in campaign for players to prevail against impossible odds. Now the purpose of this video isn't to nitpick. Overall, the patch is a really good one and addresses a lot of balanced feedback provided by the community, though of course there's always room for improvement, and these are just things I would like to see, hopefully in the near future, to make Total Warhammer multiplayer a better place for everyone. Do note that I'm using 5.2.7 to record footage for the video, so all the visuals you're seeing are from the old patch. The only thing related to 5.3 is the patch notes. A lot of what I just said is also purely theory crafting, so they might change after the update according to how the balance changes play out in practice. Now what do you think about the patch notes? Feel free to leave a comment below and share your thoughts, and perhaps even tell us what you would like to see in Total Warhammer 3 in the future.